So the way that me and this guy started talking was in March of 2024. Ex-husband, to be exact. Me and him were separated for about 5 months before I started talking to this person. And when me and this guy started talking, I was only supposed to be helping him build his relationship with God. From my understanding, he wanted a better relationship with God. He didn't really have one with him, and that's all I was supposed to do. And I remember the very first conversation that we had, it was legit over 2 hours. And in that conversation, he talked about a lot of things with me. Family, relationships, just the whole 9 yards, basically. And in my mind, I was thinking that, oh, okay, God, you're in this, so what is happening? I did not know that this was another lesson. And the reason why I say another lesson is because everything that I went through with my ex-husband, I went through it with this guy as well. The only difference was the way everything turned out was just, I don't think I could have ever truly just said, okay, I see this happening again. Like, there were a lot of characteristics that I just did not pay attention to. A lot of signs that were there that I just did not think about. And, as conversations went on, we started to get to know each other a little better. Well, at least I thought I was getting to know him better. But truth is, I didn't know anything about him until I moved to where he was. And that's when the truth started coming out about who he was as a person, what type of money he was making, all of these things. And honestly, it's like I was just rolling with the punches. Finding out he was on government funding, like, it was a lot. And I didn't shame him for it. I didn't make him feel, bad about it. Because for my birthday, he wined and dined me. And I thought that, oh, okay, he's making money from cutting grass. But the truth behind that was, it was really just the government funding that he was getting. And also another thing too, he would always talk about his first child's mother. When he would always talk about her, I never looked at it like, oh, he still has feelings for her. That didn't come about until when I started coming here more often. When I started visiting him more often, I started to see his surroundings and how he interacted with people. That's when it became more obvious that, okay, yeah, you do still have feelings for her. And basically, one thing led to another, and I ended up getting pregnant. We were actively trying. Again, in my mind, I thought that, okay, we're about to build something, whatever. But no, that was not the case at all. And when I sit here and look back on everything, it just makes me, honestly, it's a lot. Because the way that I have truly learned from both of these lessons to what not to do, what not to say to people, like, it's a lot. And I'm trying to, like, not share too much, but it's like I'm trying to share enough to where you guys will understand what I'm talking about, basically. So I'm just going to skip to the part of where he left us for another woman. So by this time, I had Cam, which is my youngest baby. I want to say he was about 6 or 7 months, I think. And slowly things started to shift. And I had experienced him cheating on me before, but this time it was very, very different. So we used to do things that were just outlandish to a normal person. And the incident that changed everything was when I had threw away something that meant a lot to him, but it's like the only reason why it meant a lot to him was because it was something that he wanted to explore with someone else. Little did I know, right after that incident happened was when he started talking to the woman that he stays with right now, currently. And it's like little things started to add up here and there. So in December, I was supposed to go on the road with him. And I declined it because at that time, me and his family were not talking. We were not on the best of terms. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need to put my baby's safety first before anything else. And I was supposed to go on the road with him for 2 weeks. I declined. And when I declined, little did I know again, he had taken her on the road with him. And certain things started happening to where he started to get sloppy, basically. In January, we had gotten a car, and it's going to be right here. We had got a car, and when we got the car, it's like all hell broke loose. Like legit, all hell broke loose. Because it's like his family, I'm not sure what their problem was, but for him, we had made this agreement that his family was on a we'll see basis as far as them using the car. And there were 2 incidents that happened with me and his family about me setting boundaries with them and, you know, not letting them use the car. And so the last weekend in January was when everything just went to hell, basically. If I'm just being quite honest, it literally went to hell. So that particular weekend, he came in, he didn't say anything. He came in and he just got clothes as if he was getting ready to leave. And mind you, me and the boys were at the house. And this is the time where my oldest baby was still with me before I let him go to his dad's house to stay there. And he came in, he had gotten his clothes. But the thing was, he would only grab like a backpack full or just enough for the week, basically. And so he came in, he didn't say anything. Me and the boys were sitting down eating. And he also had his sister and her boyfriend with him. And when it came to him and his family, they would always do this thing where I call it temperature checking. Like, he would always go and get them so that way he wouldn't have to face me. And he would use them to see if I was going to cry or beg him or do all of these things. And then also another thing about November is that's the month where I was slowly starting to learn how to control my emotions and just not let every little thing get to me, basically. And in my mind, I thought that, okay, me becoming more calm, me becoming less controlling and all of these things, in some ways going to get him to change, if I'm being quite honest. Because another thing too was, I did not realize that another reason why I was really with him is because I still only wanted the title of being a wife. I still had not learned what being a wife truly is. And even though I kept saying I did and I know and all of these things, it's like my motives behind it weren't clear at all. So after he left, I did cry because we hadn't talked that whole week. And it was mainly because I didn't take his mom to a doctor's appointment. And he would also do this thing where he would know about something, but he wouldn't tell me until the day before or either the morning of, to basically try to put pressure on me to do whatever it is he's wanting me to do. And whenever I told him no, or I told his mom no, it would be, basically, we don't F with you, so we're not going to talk to you. Or we're not going to include you and your kids in whatever it is we're doing, type of thing. So that entire weekend, I did not hear from him at all. So Sunday comes around, and I had reached out to him because, again, I have not heard from him that entire weekend. So I'm like, okay, are you okay? Are you good? Whatever. I never texted him, I just called him. So February 2nd comes around. What would happen is I would take him to drop him off at his truck. I would still have the car. Me and the boys would still have the car throughout the week. Like, it was no problem. But this particular Monday, it was very different. So that Sunday night, he had sent me $240. And I had asked him, I was like, what is this for? And he was basically letting me know that it was for the bills. But the thing was, I don't pay bills throughout, in the house. I legit go places to pay the bills. So the next morning, I get a knock on the door. It's around 6:38 that morning. I get a knock on the door, and it is his sister's friend. He's knocking on the door saying, you need to go get your car. They up there bragging at the fact they got your car and all of these other things. So I get the boys up and I get them ready, and we go over to their house, the friend's house, so I can see what they're talking about. So that's when the friend decides to show me the car. They had taken a picture of the car and sent it to her. And when I came back home, I decided to call the police. Because, what else can I do? If I wouldn't have did that, the car would have still been up there. And they would have still felt like, oh, she out of luck and we got the car, so she can't do nothing about it. Whatever. Also, during all of this, I'm trying to get in contact with him. He's not answering. Also, little did I know, he was already gone in his truck. No type of contact, no type of anything. And so after I called the police, I let him know I had did all of that. He made it seem like he was okay with it. He didn't say anything about it, nothing. So later on that week, he sent me a message basically saying, things would never be the same as far as me and his family because me calling the police on them. So here we are at another weekend. He comes home that weekend. We talk. and he asked me, why did I call the police on them? And I told him, I said, because they were not going to bring the car back. And he knew they were not going to bring the car back. Before we had got this new car, we had my old car, which was a 2009 Honda Accord. And they would drive my car till the freaking wheels fell off of it. I had to trade my car in because it had an oil gasket leak under it. And his mom and sister would drive the car without putting any type of oil in it and just letting the oil burn in the car. Like, you could legit smell it. And that's the main reason why I was so protective over the new one, which was a 2014 Honda Accord. That's exactly why I was so protective over this one, because I'm like, okay, if I see how they were with a 2009, why would I want to trust them with a 2014? And basically, that weekend was his mom's birthday as well, February 7th. February 7th was the weekend where he decided to go and stay with the woman that he's staying with right now permanently. Well, at this time, I didn't know it was permanently, because he kept, leading me on emotionally. And of course, I was still letting him, because I'm thinking, he's going to come home eventually. So whenever he would come to the house to get clothes, he would always tell me he had his mom or his sister's boyfriend in the car with him, but the entire time it would actually be her in the car with him. So that next week, I ended up finding out about her. Oh, also, the weekend before I had to call the police on his mom and sister, I had saw her name in like the little display thing when you Bluetooth your phone to the car. And I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, that was just someone random, basically. I didn't think it was someone new. So the following week, I end up hearing from other people that, he was living a double life and all of this. Again, I still did not believe it or anything. So Valentine's Day comes around, same thing again. Also, another thing that he was doing as well is that he would sneak in through the back door, which was very weird to me, because I'm like, why are you sneaking into your own house? That was very, very weird to me. It didn't make sense to me. And he would always make sure it would be around 2 or 1 o'clock in the morning, so that way he could make sure that I was asleep. And whenever he came in, all he had to do was ask for the car key and leave. And I remember the very last time he did it, and I remember I had asked him who was outside, and he said that it was his cousin. The entire time, it was her. So the weekend after Valentine's Day was when she actually reached out to me. And first she texted me, and I thought that, it was just someone playing on my phone. She reached out to me, and I'm going to have the screenshot right here. She reached out to me. She said, hey, can you give me a call when you get a chance? And she texted me early that morning, because just that previous night, he had just came in, got his clothes, left again. So she calls me, and she's like, hey, she told me her name, and she was like, I'm just trying to figure out, what's going on between you two because, I don't know what's going on. Mind you, this March would have made 2 years that we would have been together. And when she talked to me, she was saying that me and Joe have been in a relationship since November. Like, she gave me the timeline and everything. She was like, we started talking in November. We made it official in December. And we've been talking ever since. And she was also telling me how she was on the road with him for 2 weeks and how he had took her out for Valentine's Day and how she met his mom and all of these things. And it's like, it was so much for my mind to process that it's like I don't even remember everything that I said in those calls because my mind and body was so in shock that someone could do me like this. Like, not only did you leave us for another woman, but we don't have any type of transportation. His family, they don't really, help us like that. So it's like now I'm having to figure things out for myself. And it's not a bad thing that I am because God is providing. Like, God is providing more than I could have ever thought of. And at first, he kept making it seem like, he was coming back home or, he was going to be doing these things. And this past weekend and the last weekend before this one, that's when the decision became very clear. So the weekend before this one, he was basically, telling me he wants to get back out on the road because he doesn't really want to work the job that he's about to have to work while he's up there with her. And in my mind, I'm going to put all these screenshots right here. In my mind, I'm like, okay, he had 2 accidents on his record from truck driving. The first one that he had, I remember that's when I was still like unhinged emotionally. And I just wanted things to, get better. And I remember it was very bad. Like that accident that he had, it was horrible. Like, I was going off on him and I'm like, do you not care about the boys? Like, what is it? Like what is wrong with you? Like, you have the job that you've been talking about since I have met you. And that's another thing as well. He would do this thing where he would always talk about he wanted to drive trucks and all of these other things. And I had pushed him to basically get his CDL because he kept talking about it so much. So I'm like, okay, let me show you what you can pursue when you actually put your mind to it. And if I'm being quite honest, I don't think that he felt like he was going to get his CDL that quickly. So the weekend before this past weekend, he had made it seem like, he didn't know if he was going to take the job where he was. He still wanted to get back out on the road. He was calling me while she was at work. And she even knew that he would be calling me. A lot ended up happening. A lot. So this past weekend, he basically called me and made it seem like he was on his way home, told me that him and her had just got into an argument that he was about to get ready and leave her and all of these things. And the thing that still blows my mind is, how did I become the side when I was the main? Like, that shit will forever blow my mind. I promise you it will. And I think that's why, I'm making this video, so that way I'll be able to look back on it and, just see how far I truly came as a person. Because truthfully, not only did this situation open my eyes to not only who he was, but it showed me how much I didn't trust God. It showed me how much I was using a man to take the place of God. It showed me a lot. And if I'm being quite honest, this whole thing has been so scary, because this is the first time where I am truly choosing myself. Because when I first left my ex-husband, it wasn't because, I was choosing myself. It was because he wasn't giving me what I wanted. And I felt like, okay, if I truly am trying to seek out what I want, then let me do that. And that's why I went through this, to not only show myself, but God had to show me that, okay, you keep trying to get this same outcome, and it's not. That's not what I want for your life. It's not. Because everything that I have went through in this situation, I legit went through the exact same things with my ex-husband. Not every little thing, but I'm going to say about 85%. No, I'm going to give it 93%. Because even now, God has blessed me with another work from home job to be able to stay at home with my baby. I'm able to start doing YouTube again. I have an actual relationship with God now, something that I did not have 3 years ago, because I was so engulfed in being lonely and not knowing what the future holds, and being so afraid of the unknown and everything. And I am learning now that sometimes the unknown is the best part. It's so scary. It is terrifying. But I don't know what God has planned for me. I really don't. Because I was listening to other people, not having a mind of my own. And it's like, even the people that I was talking to the past 2 to 3 years, all of those people are gone. I don't have my spiritual mother anymore. I don't have any of my friends. I don't have anyone. It's legit just me, God, and my baby. That is it. And it's like, even that is a lot for me, because it's like, I'm so used to being able to talk to someone about how I feel, what I'm going through, or whatever. But it's like, now I'm basically being forced to fully depend on God, whether I like it or not. So I'm not sure what the rest of this year is going to look like, but I don't even know what the next video is going to look like, because I was about to say, follow me on this journey and all of this. I don't even know what any of this is about to look like. So I'm just going to say, whatever God tells me to do is what's going to happen. I don't know.